Hey Run Junkies, many times when we set fitness goals for ourselves, we don't always achieve them. It happens. Not because we lacked the willpower or motivation, but maybe because the goals themselves were not enough. Now today, I'm going to talk about how to set SMART goals to get you motivated and on the right track to success. I've talked about SMART goals in the past, but let's really dive into what that really means. So what's the difference between these two statements here, okay? I want to finish a marathon. I'm running my first marathon in Chicago in October by following this training plan. The first statement is really an idea. It's a wish. The second statement is a goal, a SMART goal. SMART is an acronym, and maybe you've seen it floating around the motivational interwebs. So let's break it down. Now it stands for specific, measurable, action-oriented, relevant, and time-bound. And now let's talk about each one of these. First, we have specific. Goal specificity lets us evaluate whether or not we're progressing toward the goal that we've set. If the goal is too vague and the definition too broad, you might fall short of what you were hoping to accomplish. Specifically defining your goal means you'll want to ask a couple of questions of yourself. What are some of the steps I'm going to need to take to reach this goal? Will I need help from others along the way? Saying you want to run faster is fine, but sometimes it's not quite enough. But saying, I want a PR at the 10K distance this year, much more specific. You might need a coach or a training plan to guide you and take the guesswork out of the how. And training plans are a great way to add some specificity and measurability to your goal setting. Next up is measurable. How do we know we are advancing toward our goal if we don't have a roadmap and benchmarks along the way? How do we know if we're on the right track? So if the ultimate goal is to finish the race having achieved what you set out to accomplish, we can't just set it and forget it. We want to make sure that we can see progress. Marathon training, especially for the first time, is a great example of this. You might look at double-digit milers at the very beginning of your training plan with the worry that you're going to actually be able to do those runs. But with every long run that goes longer and longer and longer, you're seeing that you can do it. That's a measurement of progress. Setting milestones along the way, the 20-miler or goal race pace runs, these are great places to see progress. A is for achievable. I think a lot of us have done this at one point or another. We set such a lofty goal that we missed the mark. Not because we didn't put in the work, but because the goal was outside of our capabilities in this moment in time. Yes, getting faster or running longer is possible, but there's only so much progression that we can make in a given period of time. For example, if my personal goal was to qualify for Boston this year, but my fastest marathon from 8 years ago is a full hour slower than the qualifying time, chances are that goal is going to take a lot longer than one training cycle. By making the goal within reach, then you might become more motivated to keep putting the work in, rather than getting disheartened at how far yet you have to go. And now for relevant and or realistic. What is so important about this goal that you're setting right now? Why is this on your radar? Why are you even considering it? Now, as runners, we love our bucket list races, and the running community is really good at showing us all of the opportunities out there. However, it's also easy to get caught up in the excitement of the moment, and we will add a huge goal to our bucket list and do it right now before we're really thinking it through. So if the goal is too big, we might become frustrated and disillusioned. If it's not big enough, we might get bored or disinterested in the lack of challenge. Now, you might ask yourself whether or not the goal is going to fit in your life right now, realistically. Are you moving, starting a new job, trying to start a family, dealing with a personal crisis? But you also have the goal to run an ultramarathon. Will that training fit into your life well without adding more stress? If the answer is no, perhaps we put that goal off until things settle down a bit. Time-bound. Lastly, finish lines are what we as runners really go after to set an end point. It's not usually something we as athletes have a whole lot of trouble with. Finish lines are our deadlines. When we set our goals, it's usually a date on a calendar. which helps us set the parameters for the goal in the first place. Having a race on the calendar is a great way to keep us motivated, and a training plan will help us with time-based checkpoints along the way. The question you maybe want to ask yourself is, if you have enough time from right now to your finish line to train and prepare to reach your goal. SMART goals are a great way to keep yourself on track and motivated, but also please remember that you can reevaluate your goals along the way. Life gets in the way sometimes, so it's important to ask yourself if the goal is still achievable at different points along the way. Is this goal still something you want? You can always alter course or readjust your sails to get back on track. The bottom line is to remember the specificity, measurability, achievability, relevance, and time sensitivity of your goals will set you up for success in the long term. So my question for you today is, what goals do you have, thinking in terms of the SMART formula? Please leave thoughts, questions, comments, and suggestions for future videos in the comment section down below. Please check out the link for some training plans that will help you set up these SMART goals. Please like, subscribe, and tell your friends. That's going to be it for me today. Thank you for watching, and until next time, remember, you have no limits. Happy running.